we doing, guys? I'm Cody Mountjoy. This is Happy Hills Cars and Stuff, and today we're going over the Milltek non-res race catback exhaust. So here it is, already unboxed, pretty much. But we're just going to go over what's in there. So a bunch of packaging, which is great because you don't want to get damaged during shipping. Under all the exhaust parts, you actually have this box. It's not going to be on the top. But inside the box, you have these nice, you got two of them, these exhaust tips. So I got the polished versions. You have a few different choices with Milltek. But here you can see it has the nice Milltek emblem right there. Go ahead and put this back in the box. Not much else to see there. And in this bag, you also get the clamps for clamping these objects together. Straightforward. Set this to the side. Here you have the non-resonated mid-pipe. So pretty clean. It's got a little Milltek tab on there. Tells you, I guess, what model. Made in England. How many they made, and it looks really nice. The welds are fantastic. Very clean. Set that over here. We got the cross section right here. Go on the down. Here you got your very large muffler. So from what I've heard, or from what I've seen in videos and heard in the videos, this thing sounds amazing. So I can't wait to get my own video here pretty soon. But hey, now that that's done, let's go ahead and get on to the install.
For this job, you'll need a ratchet, a breaker bar, 13mm wrench or socket, 15mm wrench or socket, a 5/16 or an 8mm wrench, an impact gun, definitely recommended but it's not required. You're going to need pliers, silicone grease, towels, and lastly, a jack and jack stands. You're going to start by jacking up the car to the designated jack points, and then set the car into 4 jack stands at the designated stand points as shown. Once the car is on jack stands, locate the clips for the brake lines on each side of the rear of the car and remove them using pliers. Next, use your 5/16 wrench to remove the bolt holding the brake line to the bracket on each side of the car. Now you're going to pop the brake lines from the plastic tabs on each side of the vehicle. When the lines are popped out, the brake lines should be able to move freely. Now remove the cable bushings from the brackets. If it is too difficult to remove the items with the wheel on, you can always take the wheels off to remove the items and then put the wheels back on after they are removed. Once all that is done, jack up the lower spring base slightly to be able to remove the lower shock bolt, then lower the jack. Now do the same thing on the other side. When you lower the second side of the car, the springs may fall out of the perches. This is fine. You'll have to remove them either way. Now remove the 4 13mm nuts from the crossmember and then take it off. Then, remove the 2 15mm nuts from the downpipe. You'll probably need to use a breaker bar on these to get them loose. After the downpipe nuts are removed, spray the silicone grease on each of the exhaust hangers and pry the exhaust out of them. Once the last hanger is removed, lower the exhaust to the ground. Next, you'll have to raise the rear of the car until the rear tires are off the ground. Be sure to adjust the jack stands as needed. When removing the exhaust, make sure not to nick the lines with the hanger. Once the rear is lifted enough, maneuver the exhaust to the left side of the car and work it out towards the rear as shown. Then move it back to the right side once you're done. With the exhaust on the right side of the car again, start pulling it out the rest of the way. Once the resonator gets to the twist beam, it'll probably get stuck. When this happens, you have to pull the hanger past this hole in the bottom of the car. If you push the rubber hole in, it's not a big deal. Now work the exhaust out the rest of the way. And there you go. The old catback is out. Now before you install your new exhaust, you're going to want to attach the two hanger bushings to the muffler and attach it to the rear two exhaust hangers. Then, move on to attaching the mid-pipe to the forward two exhaust hangers and fully tighten the two 15mm nuts to the downpipe. Once the downpipe nuts are tight, slip on the exhaust clamps, attach the center section as shown, and then fully tighten the clamps using a 13mm wrench or socket. Now make sure the clamps are holding the exhaust together tightly. Next, install the exhaust tips as shown. It helps to have the right tips clamp nut facing right and the left tips nut facing left. This will allow easy access to adjust the tips later if needed. Once the exhaust tips are attached, they should look something like this. Now go ahead and reinstall the crossmember. Before reinstalling your springs, make sure to clean the spring components and the lower and upper bases. When reinserting the lower base plastic cover, ensure that the arrow is facing forward, then snap it into place. Next, lower the front of the car off the stands before installing the springs. Otherwise, the rear lower shock holes will not line up. Now raise the rear of the vehicle off of stands. Once the stands are gone, lower the rear until the wheels are touching the ground, maintaining the rear slightly lifted. Now install your springs. When the springs are in, lower the rear until the lower shock holes align. Then insert and fully tighten the 15mm bolts. Once the shocks are tightened down, lower the rear the rest of the way. Reinsert the rubber bushings for the wire and the wheel wells. Tighten down the 5/16 brake line bolts to the brackets. Snap the brake lines into the plastic clamps. And finally, reinsert the clips for the brake line. Thank you everybody for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you want to check out one of my other videos, click the link in the top left. If you want to watch the exhaust before and after, top right. Have a good one.